불량 무슬림 많아.
불량? 불량 무슬림.
이제 왔어요.
저 말레이시아에서 왔어요. 말레이시아.
한국말 잘하네요.
네, 감사합니다.
哦，这个是小的 S，哦，这一个是 XL 是吗？哦，dia kata ni size
这个
XL。
会更大。
Oh, dia cakap yang ni lagi besar, yang tu kecil.
And the funny thing is, it all feels completely normal. For example, you might hear somebody saying, "Hey bro, you makan already not? 很好吃哦." That's English, Malay, Chinese, all in one sentence.
Go to Malaysia if you want to learn English. Do not go to England. Do not go to America. Why? Because here in Malaysia, together with learning English, you will gain a superpower, understanding every single accent in the world.
And you're also going to hear little elements like la. I'm not going to try to explain how to use them because I really don't know. And it's almost like an untranslatable thing. Like you have to be from here to know where to put it.
Guys, selamat datang kembali di RJ Story. Pernah tak korang tengah lepak dengan orang Malaysia, baru je faham satu ayat, tiba-tiba dah tukar bahasa lain? Belum sempat hadam, dah masuk slang, campur English, lepas tu sambung balik bahasa Melayu. Memang rasa macam tengah tukar channel TV, laju gila. Bagi orang luar, benda ni kadang-kadang nampak pelik. Tapi itulah yang buat Malaysia nampak unik dan lain daripada yang lain.
불량 무슬림 많아.
불량? 불량 무슬림.
이제 왔어요.
저 말레이시아에서 왔어요. 말레이시아.
한국말 잘하네요.
네, 감사합니다.
얼굴도 이뻐요.
네?
얼굴도 이뻐.
감사합니다. 아니, 저 경주 처음 와봐요.
경기 좋아요.
오늘 기대해 보겠습니다.
근데 한국말 너무 잘해.
경주 뭐가 제일 맛있어요?
배고프면 다 맛있어. 한국 여행 오니까 어때요?
저 너무 좋죠. 항상 서울에만 갔다가 작년부터 부산에 처음 왔는데 너무 좋더라고요. 그래서 이번에는 경주까지.
아 진짜 한국말 잘해.
감사합니다. 저 말고 다른 말레이시아 사람을 본 적 있어요? 만난 적 있으세요?
아니요.
여기 많이 없구나.
무슬림?
네, 무슬림.
히잡.
네, 이거 히잡으로.
불량 무슬림 많아.
불량? 불량 무슬림 무슨 뜻이?
아,
잘 아시네요. 술이 안 먹는 거.
술 먹어, 노래방 가, 여자 만나, 전부 다 불량 무슬림.
그럼 진짜 무슬림이에요? 또 비무슬림들도 많기 때문에
무슬림
진짜 무슬림. 여기겠죠?
여기.
아, 여기. 감사합니다.
最喜欢你们马来西亚的吗？
哦，你喜欢马来西亚人？为什么？
就是你们就是很有礼貌，然后态度又很好，也不会说跟你们就是说乱讲啊，干嘛东西都特别好，给我们印象很好。
哦，谢谢谢谢。马来人你啊，还是可以哦，可以啊。
最喜欢马来。
哦，这个是小的 S，哦，这一个是 XL 是吗？哦，dia kata ni size
这个
XL。
会更大。
Oh, dia cakap yang ni lagi besar, yang tu kecil. 这一个如果 XL 的穿可以吗？还是不行？
这个是 L 号，这个是 XL。
哦，yang Abi pakai sizing L, yang ni sizing XL.
Adik-adik kat sini. Okey tak ini?
Okey. Tada, dia dah beli. Dia kata Abi pakai pun cantik.
Other than English, these are the languages that I speak, starting from the most fluent one to the less fluent one. Ich bin Saida und wie ihr wisst, ich bin in der Schweiz geboren und auch in der Schweiz aufgewachsen. Und ja, ich rede Schweizerdeutsch, ich rede auch Standarddeutsch oder Hochdeutsch. Jetzt lebe ich gerade in Malaysia und ich will so gerne jetzt wieder, so gerne aber in der Schweiz wieder zurückgehen. Ich bin Saida und ich bin 23 Jahre alt. Ich bin jetzt gerade in Malaysia und ich wohne jetzt gerade in Malaysia, aber ich bin in der Schweiz geboren und ich rede fast nie Hochdeutsch oder Standarddeutsch, weil eben ich habe gar keine Freunde aus Deutschland jetzt, aber ja, das mache ich jetzt ganz nur für euch. Hai, saya Saida. Macam korang semua tahu, saya dah memang cakap bahasa Melayu. Saya dah tak ada masalah apa pun. Memang saya dah cakap bahasa Melayu dengan kawan-kawan, dengan ayah saya dah. So, mungkin ada yang kata saya dah ada slang. Tapi tak tahulah sama ada ke tak, korang nilailah sendiri. Bonjour, salut, ça va? Ça va très bien, merci. Je m'appelle Saïda. J'ai appris le français à l'école et je parle un petit peu français car c'est difficile. 大家好，我是赛达。我的妈妈是华人啊，我的爸爸是马来人，但是我可以讲华语一点点罢了。Ciao, come stai? Io sto molto bene, grazie. Sì, io posso parlare italiano, però solo un poco, con miei amici.
I didn't expect this about Malaysia. When I moved here, I was fascinated by how people grow up with languages. Speaking two languages isn't special. Malay and English are just part of daily life. And depending on your background, you might also speak the language used at home or the language your school teaches in. I had a Malaysian Indian friend in a university. I knew he spoke Malay, English, and Tamil, but one day, he casually started speaking Mandarin with our Malaysian Chinese friends. I was so curious. I asked him how he knew Mandarin, and he was like he went to a Chinese school. That's when I understood something. Language doesn't come from just one place. It comes from your home, your community, and your education system. Coming from Korea, where English is often exam focused, this felt completely different. It made me see language not as a subject, but culture you grew up living in.
You know what's interesting about Malaysian? We can switch between 4 to 5 languages just like that anytime. At school, we speak English and Malay. At home, maybe Mandarin, Cantonese, Tamil or Hokkien, depending on our family. At the coffee shop, a mix of everything. Malay slang, English, Chinese dialect, all rojak together. And the funny thing is, it all feels completely normal. For example, you might hear somebody saying, "Hey bro, you makan already not? 很好吃哦." That's English, Malay, Chinese, all in one sentence. So why can Malaysians do this so naturally? It's because from young we are exposed to multicultural and multi-languages. We learn to use different languages in different situations. Malay for official things, English for studies and work, Chinese for families and friends, and Tamil in the Indian community. And honestly, it's not just language, it's about emotions. That's why in Malaysia, code switching isn't broken language, it's our superpower.
When I speak English in Malaysia, this is how I sound, like normal Malaysian accent. And then suddenly, if there's an ang mo there, my American accent starts to push through and I don't understand why I sound like I'm from California or something. Bila I cakap BM, suara tu nge macam tu, tertiba je. Apa benda ni? Kecoh ah. 当我讲华语的时候，我的声音比较高一点，比較可愛一點。我講廣東話嘅時期，無端端好似周星馳咁嘅，點解呢？
Kalau korang perasan, ramai rakyat Malaysia memang biasa bercakap dengan cara campur-campur bahasa. Dalam satu perbualan, boleh ada bahasa Melayu, English, Mandarin, Tamil. Kadang-kadang masuk pula dialek tempatan. Yang menariknya, bukan sebab nak tunjuk pandai pun. Ia datang secara natural. Kadang-kadang, ada perkataan yang rasa lebih ngam bila sebut dalam bahasa tertentu. Sebab tu, bila dengar, macam spontan je keluar ikut situasi.
What are your names?
My name is Nisha.
Karin.
Where are you from?
I'm from Malaysia.
I'm from Taiwan.
Taiwan, the language is Chinese, I believe. Malaysia, you tell me.
In Malaysia, main language is Bahasa, but now it's like multiple language. That's why I can speak Chinese with her.
Any others?
Sarawak, because I'm from East Malaysia, so in East Malaysia there will be another language with different dialect.
If you both wouldn't mind giving us some sample of your languages.
今天天气很冷。
Hai, apa khabar semua? Saya di Chicago bersama Jack, right? Matt. Sorry. Well, bahasa Sarawak. Hai semua, apa khabar kita orang? Nisha kini tok dekat Chicago bersama Matt.
Clearly, both of you guys speak English. How did you guys learn English? And what was some aspect of English that's like hard to learn?
Still, there's some words and slang. If you are in the US, if you're in the UK, Australia, there is a lot of English words. Of course, in Malaysia, our second is going to be English at school. I mean, all the Malaysians can speak English. You know Singaporean, right? We have this something, we call it Singlish.
It's like Spanglish, what we call here first. When people speak Spanish English.
Yes, exactly.
I think for me, the challenging thing is the accent. Like, it's hard to get used to all of the different accents.
What advice would you give to maybe like Americans that tend to only know like English?
It's a group of friends, because me too, I learned my English from a group of friends. Like, my English is so bad before, but because of my work, my job, I met a lot of different nationality. You know, somehow you will learn something.
I think just the environment. If you want to learn some language, you just put yourself in that kind of environment.
One of the questions that I get the most by people back in the UK is, do people in Malaysia speak English? And of course I tell them, yes, most people in Malaysia speak English. Many people here speak very, very good English, probably better than a lot of English people if we're completely honest. But that is not the thing that fascinates me about language when it comes to the people of Malaysia. What really fascinates me are the sheer number of people here that can speak multiple languages. For example, it's not uncommon at all to meet somebody in Malaysia that will speak fluent English, fluent Malay, a Chinese dialect. And then here in Kuching, for example, you'll meet people that can also speak Iban and Budaya and all number of different languages. For example, my very good friend here, who in fact right now is standing about 20 feet away from me, he can speak perfectly fluent English, Malay, Iban, Budaya, Malanao, maybe some Chinese, I'm not sure. But that's like at least 5 languages that he can speak easily, eloquently, and I've witnessed he can be having a conversation with one person and then just switch into the other language to talk to another person. It's absolutely amazing and inspiring to see. Now compare that to us back in the UK. We are generally atrocious at learning other languages. I don't think that's exclusive to the UK. I think countries where English is the first language, we're not the best at then learning other languages. We obviously have a sort of lazy advantage because English is so widely spoken, it's spoken all over the world, and when we travel, there is unfortunately a thing where we don't have to learn languages to go to other countries because people there will speak English. It's terrible, I know. We should do better. But also, when you look at our education system, and really this says an awful lot about how good the education system in Malaysia is when it comes to teaching second, third, fourth languages. In the UK, I think our education in that area is really, really lacking. I mean, we don't really start learning another language until we're sort of some way into middle school. Well, this was the case when I was at school. It may be different now. I was at school a very, very, very long time ago. But when I was there, I don't think I started learning, it was French, until I was maybe about 7 or 8 years old. And by the time I finished my GCSEs, I got a B, which is a pretty good score actually. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And I could only really speak very, very, very basic French, and that was enough for me to get a B in my GCSEs at 16 years old. And the saddest thing for me as well is if you're not brought up bilingual or multilingual, then later on in life it's much, much harder for you to learn languages. Like me, for example, I've lived in Malaysia on and off over the past over a decade now, and I still speak Malay like a caveman that's possibly been hit on the head too many times. And then compare that to like a Malaysian that will say to me, oh sorry, my English isn't very good. And I'm like, man, your English is better than a load of people I know back in the UK who are meant to be native speakers. Yes, Malaysia is a wonderful example of a completely multilingual country and a very, very good example of how to educate your children properly to speak a multitude of languages.
Go to Malaysia if you want to learn English. Do not go to England. Do not go to America. Why? Because here in Malaysia, together with learning English, you will gain a superpower, understanding every single accent in the world. Whether it's Malay, Chinese, Indian, African, Italian, French, South Korean, Japanese. As someone who has learned English here in Malaysia, and I've learned my English from the Chinese, the Malays, the Indians, and everyone else that lives here, the English that you learn here in Malaysia is going to be influenced by so many different people, cultures, that your English is going to be the united version of English, the English of the world. And you will easily understand everyone because you've heard every single accent while you've been here in Malaysia, and everyone in the world will understand you. With a few minor exceptions, English people still sometimes don't understand my English, but I invite them all to Malaysia because it's time to catch up with the rest of the world. Macam iOS 27, the new and updated version of English oleh Malaysia untuk semua.
Let's talk about English in Malaysia. If you're traveling to Malaysia, especially big cities like Kuala Lumpur, you will notice everybody speak English to a certain degree. You're also going to notice different accents and different dialects in English. They usually range from a very casual English, which is kind of a mix of Malay and Chinese and Tamil, basically called Manglish, or the formal English that is used in business or education or administration. See, English came to Malaysia in the 1800s when the British colonization happened. Then English became the language of government, education, business, and when Malaysia gained their independence in 1957, English didn't just disappear. Because Malaysians are smart. They kept Bahasa Malaysia as their national language, or Malay, and they kept English for global communication and economic economic growth. And that's why today English is pretty much everywhere in Malaysia, in universities and schools. It's actually a mandatory subject in public schools, I think. You'll see it on restaurant menus, on road signs, and many other things. And what I like the most about the type of English used in casual settings here by Malaysian people is that it's very efficient, you know? They don't waste time. For example, are you able to help me with this is simply can or not. I have already managed to complete the task is going to be done already. And you're also going to hear little elements like la. I'm not going to try to explain how to use them because I really don't know. And it's almost like an untranslatable thing. Like you have to be from here to know where to put it. But you'll hear those elements and they are just added sometimes to emphasize something, sometimes to soften things up, sometimes to make something a little bit more aggressive. It's many uses. Malaysians can very easily switch between formal English to casual English, and when they're in a business setting, for example, they will use proper English, and when they're with their friends or with their family, they will switch to a much more casual tone and vocabulary. And this is pretty similar to my country. I'm from Moldova, so when we speak Romanian in Moldova, it has a very thick, strong dialect, but then we can switch to proper Romanian very easily, so then we use it in more formal situations. So overall, I'm very grateful that even in Indonesia and Singapore and Malaysia, I have been able to be understood and communicate easily with local people because everybody seems to know English to a certain degree, and most of the times it's very good English. And many Malaysians actually speak 3 to 4 languages, so if you're traveling, if you're a tourist and you're having some issues because that person doesn't speak perfect English or you can't understand them, you gotta chill because that's their 3rd or 4th language already. Relax lah.
Hello.
Hello.
What is your name?
My name is Miguel Raisen.
Where are you from?
I'm from Sabah, Malaysia.
Okay. How many languages do you speak?
About 3.
Which one?
Malaysia, English, and my traditional language.
What is your traditional language?
My traditional language is Kadazan Dusun.
Karazan Dusun.
Yes.
Can you say anything in your language?
Yes.
Say something.
Ngaranku Miguel, mandatku from Sabah.
Mandatku from Kazakhstan.
Yes.
I can speak now your language. Yes. How to say my name is?
Ngaranku.
Ngaranku Balnur.
Yes.
Oh, good. How to say thank you so much?
Ponsiko.
Ponsiko. Yeah. Siapa nama abak?
Siapa nama awak?
Siapa nama awak?
Yeah. What's your name?
Right. And how to say nice to meet you?
Selamat bertemu dengan kamu.
Bertemu?
Dengan Anda.
Dengan Anda.
Yeah.
Selamat bertemu dengan Anda. Okay. And how to say you are a good policeman?
Kamu adalah polis yang bagus.
Kamu?
Adalah?
Kamu adalah?
Polis yang bagus.
Polis yang bagus.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Sebenarnya, kebolehan tukar bahasa ni lahir daripada kehidupan seharian masyarakat Malaysia yang memang hidup dalam suasana berbilang kaum dan budaya. Dari sekolah, tempat kerja, kedai makan, sampai sembang santai tepi jalan, semua orang dah biasa dengar pelbagai bahasa. Jadi bila bercakap, otak macam automatik pilih perkataan yang paling cepat, paling tepat dan paling mudah difahami oleh orang sekeliling. Inilah yang kadang-kadang buat orang luar terkejut. Ada yang datang ke Malaysia, mula-mula ingat nak belajar satu bahasa je dah cukup. Tapi bila dengar orang tempatan bercakap, terus blur. Malah ada juga yang kagum sebab bukan senang nak tukar bahasa dalam satu ayat tanpa fikir lama. Bagi sesetengah orang barat, benda ni sampai buat mereka rasa malu sebab mereka sendiri mungkin hanya selesa dengan satu bahasa saja. Tapi kalau kita fikir balik, kelebihan ni sebenarnya bukan sekadar nampak cool. Ia tunjuk yang rakyat Malaysia ada satu kemahiran sosial yang kuat. Pandai sesuaikan diri, pandai faham budaya orang lain dan pandai cari titik tengah supaya semua orang rasa dekat. Kadang-kadang, satu perkataan yang tepat boleh buat suasana jadi lebih mesra daripada satu ayat yang formal. Jadi guys, kalau korang rakyat Malaysia, jangan pandang ringan benda ni. Apa yang korang anggap biasa, sebenarnya bagi orang luar, itu satu kelebihan besar. Teruskan bangga dengan identiti kita. Tapi pada masa yang sama, gunakan kelebihan bahasa ni dengan bijak. Bila bercakap, pastikan orang lain pun selesa dan faham. Bukan sekadar nak nampak hebat. Sebab bahasa bukan cuma alat komunikasi. bahasa juga jambatan yang rapatkan manusia. Itu je untuk kali ni di RJ Story. Kalau korang pernah alami situasi kelakar bila orang luar terkejut dengan cara orang Malaysia bercakap, share pengalaman korang dekat ruangan komen. Jumpa lagi dalam video seterusnya guys.